What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new season of The Real Housewives of Orange County, you guys. So, this is season 18, episode number 1, you guys. This title episode was titled Exes, and it was titled Exes and something else. Exes and OC. So before we go ahead and get into this review, if you guys are watching this this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also by turning on your post notifications, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and get into the season premiere of The Real Housewives of Orange County, shall we? All right, you guys. So overall, I actually enjoyed the season premiere of Orange County. Now, for the last few seasons, Orange County has been in the gutter, so to speak. For me, I ain't really enjoyed I haven't enjoyed Orange County since before COVID because the COVID season sucked. Then after the COVID season, okay. So the COVID season, I believe you had that girl Elizabeth. Was she the no? She wasn't the COVID season. You still had Bronwyn. You still had Bronwyn, and then after Bronwyn is when they brought in Elizabeth. Elizabeth wasn't really feeling her. Then after Elizabeth, you had Noella. Then after Noella, you had Dr. Jen, and now you had this Jen. So this season looks like it's going to be a good season, and I am absolutely here for it. What I will go ahead and say is I'm still hella confused as to why Gina and Emily are back. Like, Gina and Emily have to have some kind of dirt on somebody on production and casting. I don't know because I'm just so confused why Gina and Emily have returned for yet another season of Orange County, but they're here. So, let's go ahead and get into it. And I guess we will start up with none other than Gina. Once again, I'm asking the question, what is Gina's purpose on this show? Like, I don't ever want to take nobody's check away from them, but I'm sorry, when it comes to Gina and Emily, I just I'd be so confused when I see them on my television screen. I really do. Like, I kid you not, I'd be so confused. And then Gina's storyline this season is like, okay, we it's more the same when it comes to Gina. Gina's storylines always feel like a pity party to me. I hate to say it, but it always feels like a pity party. It always feels like, oh, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. Because now the thing is that she and Travis, their relationship, it's in, I guess you would say, a precarious place. I don't know, because she's talking about the fact that, she and Matt are in a good place, right? But Travis and his ex-wife, they're not in such a good place. And I was like, again, Gina, what the hell I got to do with you? But okay, if it, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't really care. But she and Travis, they are talking about the fact that the kids are getting older, and I guess the house that they're living in, it's not big enough for her kids and his kids. So she feels that maybe they should live in separate places until they can come up, till they have enough money to get the big family house that they want. I was like, you know what? Again, who is Gina blackmailing to stay on this show? That is the real question that I got, is who the hell is Gina blackmailing? Because I just don't get me wrong. I don't want nobody to think, oh, you dislike Gina. I don't. Gina is a normal girl. Like, she doesn't give OC housewife. She doesn't give the glitz and the glamour, in my personal opinion. You guys may agree or disagree, but that is my opinion. when it comes to good old Gina. Since we're talking about Emily and Gina, why are they on the show? I guess we should go ahead and talk about Emily in this episode. Wasn't a whole lot with Emily either, right? So we see as Gina went over to Emily's crib, and Emily is, I guess, doing some renovations in her home. And this is where Emily and Gina had the conversation about Travis and his ex-wife. And, okay, cool. So Gina let Emily know that, I guess you guys, I remember I just talked about Elizabeth a few minutes ago. Elizabeth Vargas from season, oh God, what season was Elizabeth on? I can't remember the season number. I know it was COVID season when Elizabeth was on. She gave absolutely nothing. She was boring. But I guess Elizabeth, from I didn't really understand what Gina was talking about, but I think Elizabeth is selling her home, and so Gina is the realtor that she's using. And then Gina was talking about the fact that Elizabeth's brother saw Shannon, I guess around New Year's Eve, and she had a shopping cart full of booze. We will discuss Shannon in a little bit. I love Shannon down, but Shannon is 100% wrong. And there were some things in this episode that I saw that I was like, Shannon, 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 Shannon. But we'll talk about Shannon when we get to Shannon. So Gina feels like Shannon tortured her because of her DUI. And I was like, I beg to differ, Gina. I don't think that Shannon tortured you, so to speak, with your DUI. I think what the word you might have been looking for or wanted to should have said was she gloated, she held things over your head, but I don't necessarily think that she tortured you. The one thing that Shannon did do after Gina's DUI was she always let Gina know what she had done for her, and I did not agree with Shannon doing that, trying to throw it in Gina's face what she's done. So I disagree about the whole thing of, you know, she tortured you. But if that's how Gina felt, I'm not going to take away from how Gina felt. That's in Gina's feelings. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree in the comments section and in the live chat, you guys. And that was really it with them because I've already talked about the fact that Gina was talking about her relationship with Travis, how she's good with Matt, he's not good with his ex-wife. They're outgrowing the house and things of that nature. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next person, I guess, shall we? So the next person we're gonna talk about is Jen. Once again, this ain't no slight, no shade to anybody, but watching Jen scene with her and her now fiance, I'm so shocked that her and that man are engaged. After all the stuff that happened last season and the stuff that we found out, he would have been the last person I would say yes to an engagement to. But hey, congratulations to her. And you're also still seeing the fact that Tamra was never your friend. Just putting that out there for you. So, kind of like what I said about Gina a few minutes ago, the fact that with Gina is pretty modest, and I'll say that in a nice way. I'll say modest, right? Because I won't say broke because I don't think that they're broke, but they don't. When you think of housewives, when I think of housewives, I think of behind the gates, the rich and fabulous, right? And looking at this scene with Jen, I ain't her talking about the fact that she's about to get evicted from her home because her husband was supposed to be paying portion of the rent. Come to find out, paying the rent, but he was only paying a certain portion of it, and he's not working for her family anymore, and her yoga business is only she only makes $50 a client or something like that. And I was just sitting here thinking to myself, like, this is again, this ain't nothing shady against him, but I don't. When I look at the housewives, this is escapism, right? And it's the same way I felt about like with Monica on Salt Lake City when Monica was complaining about, not having the things that the girls have. It's like, ugh. Let me say this. I would prefer them to be honest about things as opposed to them scamming like Teresa, like Jennifer Shaw. I would prefer that as opposed to the scamming. So I'm okay with it, but so is his name is Ryan, right? I forget that man's name. But her fiance, her now current fiance, which again I don't understand why she said yes to the man, but she did say yes to the engagement, right? So he's suggesting that she and the kids move in with him. I was with her. She's worried about the worst case scenario. I was like, absolutely worried about the worst case scenario with this man. Please don't move you and your kids into this house with this man. Like, don't do it. Absolutely not. You know, no, I won't. It's interesting. I just thought about that. The last few new editions of Housewives on OC, they've all had marital issues. And they all had minus Noella, they all had a lot of kids. Jen got a lot of kids. Bronwyn had a lot of kids. And Elizabeth had no kids, but she was divorced. Wow, they really know how to pick them, don't they? They really know how to pick their housewives. Now, I am interested to meet this new girl, Katie, and see what we get from her. But we met Katie in this episode, but we didn't get to see a lot of Katie in this episode. But yeah, Jen, good luck to you. I'm still confused as to why you said yes to marrying this man. I'm just puzzled, puzzled. So let's go ahead and move on, you guys, and let's go ahead and talk about Tammy Sue. My bad, y'all. Let's talk about Tamara. Tamara. Tamara is not my favorite person in the OC Housewives. I can't stand Tamara. Like, just can't stand Tamara, right? So we see Tamara. So she's at the gym. She's meeting with Emily and with Jen. What I will say is Emily looks really good. She looks good. Emily says she's lost over the last year. She's lost 40 pounds. Some of it Ozempic, some of it liposuction, and working out. She looks amazing, all right? So Jen is telling them that Shannon has been coming to do yoga, right? And this is the part of the episode that's kind of got me, kind of pissed me off a little bit because it's Tamra. Tamra is not a friend to anybody because the things that Tamra was saying in this scene and even at the party about Shannon, it's like if that was once your friend, you would be concerned about her drinking, not sitting here making light of her drinking. Because I really feel like that's what Tamara was doing, was making light of Shannon's drinking, right? And so, she was also talking about the fact that I guess they had did like a podcast. Now, this part I didn't find an issue with. I found a slight issue because she's like, now she's drinking Diet Coke. But then she said that she saw Shannon and she had something, I don't know if it was tequila or whatever, but she poured it into the Diet Coke. And I was like, but here's my thing with Tamara, if you're a real friend, you would have said something to Shannon right there instead of bringing this shit up on camera. That's what I have an issue with when it comes to Tamara. And then when they were talking about Alexis and John, and Tamara is sitting here saying that is Shannon's karma. I was like, say what now? How is John thirsty ass going and getting with Alexis Shannon's karma? Please make that make sense, Tamara. Like, please make that make sense. And I still find it odd that Tamara and Jesus Jugs are cool with each other. I find it odd to find Jesus Jugs are cool with each other, but it feels like a friendship of convenience, kind of like with Jackie over on New Jersey with Teresa. That's all I'm gonna say. Now we did later see Tamara and her daughter Sophia. They went for her to get a tattoo. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believed If I'm, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Shannon? I mean, not Shannon, but Tamara's other daughter, Sydney, said she didn't want to be mentioned on the show. But that's my thing with Tamara too. Her kids, like, girl, some of your kids ain't. Especially, which one is the one that's the who supporter? Oh God, I hope we never see him. That's the one that I never want to see. She also talked about the fact that Sydney took her dad's side, and she doesn't talk to any of them. And I mean, there was an analogy that Tamara used that I thought was kind of weak in bad taste when she was like, "It's like your child is DEAD, but they're still alive." And I got what she meant, but I was like, "That's not the best analogy to use. That's not the best analogy." But hey, I wish her nothing but the best, and that's all I got for Tamara. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll pause here and move on to the next person, you guys. So next up, you guys, my Shannon, my Shannon, my Shannon. Shannon, Shannon, Shannon. Now here's the thing. I love Shannon Bador. That is my girl. But I have got to be honest and call a spade a spade. When I saw that video of Shannon zooming down that street and hitting that house, the thing with Shannon is very lucky that she didn't hurt herself, she didn't hurt Archie, and she didn't hurt anyone else. It's kind of like with Karen Hugo on Potomac. Like I don't understand why you guys are getting behind the wheel of a car and you're intoxicated, right? Now, with Shannon, she says that she went to go see John, and John says some nasty things to her about her being a drunk, right? Despite the fact that I think John is thirsty as hell, Shannon, babe, you definitely have an alcohol problem. Like, we have to be open and honest about that. Shannon has an alcohol problem. And until Shannon is ready to admit that, it's going to continue to be a problem and it may even fester. What I will say is, I love that her girls were there and being super supportive of her. And, she was beating herself up because of the choices that she made. Because of that, she wasn't able to go and see off. What's her name? She wasn't able to go and see off her daughter. Which one? Stella, to college, right? But again, the interesting thing with Shannon is, you see in Shannon's interviews and even later in the episode when she went and met up with her attorney, where Shannon is saying that she wants to take accountability for what she did, and she wants to, you know, because her attorney was like, "You have, I think, 3 years probation, and after that, he kind of wants this to be wiped off her record, right?" And Shannon is saying that she doesn't want any preferential treatment. But my problem with Shannon, and again, I love Shannon, but I can also call Shannon out when I think she's wrong. The problem that I have with Shannon is, you're talking about you only have a 2 drink maximum. Shannon, I don't think you should have any drinks, to be quite honest with you. I really don't. And going back to John, you said that you left John and you just slammed on your brake to show him some. Like, I wonder what Shannon thought she was proving to John by getting behind the wheel of a car drunk and driving. Like, you weren't proving anything to John. You really weren't. And if you quote unquote were proving something to him, then you may have been proving to him that you are an alcoholic. But that's all I got to say when it comes to Shannon. I'm praying for Shannon. I really do want Shannon to stop drinking, because it's a problem, Shannon. It really is. It really is. But yeah, you guys, tell me what you think about that in the comments, you guys, and we will go ahead and move on to the last person, you guys, and that is going to be Heather Dubrow. So with Heather, I'm also not the biggest fan of Heather, but Heather is the quintessential housewife, right? Well, I was about to say she is, but she's not anymore, really and truly. Because I'm about to say she's the quintessential housewife that lives, in Orange County, but she lives in Beverly Hills now. That's interesting. And I just had a conversation with me and somebody were just talking about this on Twitter the other day, yesterday actually, because people are saying that they should bring back the Real Housewives of Dallas and Dallas and DC. And this person was like, people need to look and see what the Potomac River line, right? And I was like, but if they can do Beverly Hills and OC, which are neighbors, then they can also do DC and Potomac. Yes, I know that they're right by each other, but they could Beverly literally with Heather. Heather lives in Beverly Hills, so she should be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, not OC. But that's neither here nor there, right? So now this is something that I know. I was like, okay, this is what I've been missing from Housewives when they were showing those price tags of what they're doing to that house. I was like, yes, this is what I miss from Housewives. I like to see the dollar amounts of stuff, what they trying to do with their houses, what they go to purchase. I miss that stuff. Oh my God, I miss that the days of yesteryear with Housewives. But neither here nor there, right? So Heather is talking about the fact that she wants to throw a party at the Bay Club, right? She's inviting all the girls, including Alexis. So then we see her as she's having dinner with Emily and Alexis. And Alexis, you're a smart girl. But I have so many questions when it comes to you and John Jansen. So you and John Jansen met at the quiet place, right? Is that the name of the restaurant? The Quiet Place? Yes. So y'all met there. You said he came to your booth. You don't find any of this stuff strange or odd that he was just with Shannon and now he's with you and now you guys are engaged? Like none of that sounds odd to you? None of it. None of it. I'm gonna repeat it one more time. None of this sounds odd to you. And so she also has an issue with Emily because Emily was on a podcast. I guess she was on the Two T's in a podcast, Two T's in a pod with Tamara and Teddy, which I saw that Teddy is going to make an appearance on this season. I'm like, oh God, not Teddy. Now I'm not one of those people who can't stand Teddy. What it is with Teddy is I just find her rather annoying. That is it with Teddy. I don't dislike Teddy. I don't hate Teddy. I just think that Teddy is a little bit on the annoying side. That's all I got to say about that. I also saw that Sutton was in the trailer as well. So we'll see a little bit of Sutton this season. But Alexis had an issue with the fact that Emily called John a douche. Well, girl, if the shoe fits, then I really do believe that John Jansen is a douchebag. I really do. And I'm just gonna say, so none of this is like raising an alarm to you. The fact that maybe John may be using you to piss off Shannon, get under Shannon's skin, rattle Shannon's cage. Like none of this, Alexis, is just saying, let me put caution to the wind. You know what? If she likes it, then I absolutely love it. But it's just weird to me. So then we get down to Heather's party. So we are introduced to Katie. So Katie is friends with Sutton. So when she was moving from, I guess, Beverly Hills down to OC, then Sutton told her to reach out to Gina about getting the house. So we are being introduced to Katie through Gina. I was like, Gina, of all people, we're being introduced to her by Gina. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Make Gina earn a check. So we also found out that I guess Katie must have met Heather before, and she said that this is the first time that Heather's really spoken to her. I was like, okay, cool. You guys know that they're gonna have an issue this season. Don't know what it is, but hey, we'll see. Then Tamara and Alexis. Like I said earlier, this newfound friendship is just a little bit on the outside to me, but hey, if it works for them, it works for them. But again, going back to what I said earlier about Tamara, is I just find Tamara to be a shitty friend, a terrible friend, because you're sitting here making jokes about Shannon's drinking. If you were such a real friend and a concerned friend, you wouldn't be making light of this subject. But it's Tamara that we're talking about. So when Shannon got there, Shannon, she apologized to Gina. I don't think Gina was expecting that apology. I don't think Gina was ready for the apology because she didn't really know how to react to it. And then I noticed that Shannon had a drink in her hand. And I was like, God, Shannon. Oh, again, I get that she wants to take accountability before she did, but I think Shannon also might want to look in the mirror and say, I'm an alcoholic. I think she might want to say that. But she went up to Alexis and asked Alexis, can they have a conversation? So they went outside to have the conversation, and the other ladies wanted to kind of eavesdrop on the conversation, but they couldn't because they moved very far away from the vantage point. But when they went outside to have the conversation, Shannon wanted to bring up the lawsuit between Jim when Jim filed a lawsuit against her and Tamara, right? And earlier in the episode, Tamara was like, "I lost $500,000, and Shannon lost 300,000." So that was Shannon's whole issue. Is like, your husband sued me and Tamara. I lost $300,000, and this all came about after you sent me a cease and desist. Now, Alexis don't believe that this is the issue because she said, "Well, you're the ex, and I'm the new girl, or I'm his girl now," or whatever she says. She said something to that effect. I was like, but she's talking about a lawsuit, Alexis. I do believe that some of this could be from the lawsuit, but I also believe that some of it could be John. And it's just, they both look fugazi as hell. Like, that's all I got to say. Um, Alexis said, well, show her the cease and desist. And so Shannon said she'll show it to her. And that's really where the episode left off. They left it in limbo. And we're going to see how it's going to play out the rest of this season, you guys. But I'm actually here for season 18 of Real Housewives of Orange County. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments section, you guys. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, you guys, and share the video. And until the next time, you guys, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.